Over $6 billion is being spent on Surrey right now, and most people have no idea what's coming. 8 new SkyTrain stations, a new hospital, and infrastructure that's going to totally reshape which neighborhoods increase in value. Hey, I'm Scott Moe with Remax, and I've been selling real estate in Surrey and Langley for over 20 years. And today, I'm going to break down which new projects coming up matter to you. And stick around because the market data at the end, that's where timing becomes everything. First off, the Surrey to Langley SkyTrain extension. Let's start with this one, a 16-kilometer project down Fraser Highway that's going to cut your commute time to downtown Vancouver in about half. And this is going to affect property values along that line immensely. This new SkyTrain extension is going to connect the King George station in North Surrey with the Langley station in downtown Langley. And we're going to be getting 8 new SkyTrain stations, which are named as follows: Green Timbers, 152nd Street, Fleetwood, Bakerview, and that's at 166th Street, Hillcrest around 184th Street, Clayton, Willowbrook, and then finally Langley City Center. The budget for this thing is just under $6 billion, which is up from around $4 billion initially. So this thing costs a lot of money. The anticipated service date is around 2029, so we've got a few more years, like 4 to 5 years of more construction. If you've driven up and down Fraser Highway at all lately, you've seen it. You run into it every couple kilometers where they're building the new stations, and traffic is a bit of a mess. But I think in general, they're doing a pretty good of moving people in and out of there as they build. And stick around till later because I'll give you a bit of data on what happens to property values within proximity to new transit lines like this SkyTrain station. And yeah, I'm going to say this is probably one of the biggest projects ever to happen in the Surrey and Langley area. I mean, obviously the price tag is huge. This is really going to connect that area with the rest of Metro Vancouver. Just think back to when the SkyTrain, initially went down to Richmond, when it went out to Surrey, and then it went out to Coquitlam. And property values is the other thing. And again, I'm going to talk about that near the end here because I know a lot of people are curious as to what that might do. And there are a few studies that have been done that kind of lay some evidence as to what we might expect in the future. Hey, welcome back to those of you that do subscribe to our channel. And those that don't, what are you waiting for? Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you get informed of new videos as we release them. Our goal with this is to make you guys informed. Really a look into my mind, what I know in terms of real estate, where to buy, where not to buy, what's happening, and all that kind of good stuff in between. So make sure you subscribe for more updates like this. The next big project happening in Surrey is the new hospital and BC Cancer Center in Cloverdale. And if you've driven through Cloverdale, you've seen it. It's on the south side of Highway 10 there, right around 180th to, just next to the downtown area. There's things happening. You can see it going up, and that is a huge project and a huge deal for that area. Construction started a few years ago. Anticipated completion date is 2029. First patients going to be accepted in 2030. That's the projection. And this thing costs just a tad under $3 billion to construct. So this is a huge project. The reason they picked that Cloverdale location is because Cloverdale, as you've seen from my other videos, is quite central. It's right in the middle of, Surrey, Langley, Delta, South Surrey. It's kind of right in the middle, and it's got good access there via 176th Street, Highway 10. So it just made sense. Property values in Cloverdale, definitely for someone that's wanting to be close to medical care, those property values there should increase a little bit more because of the proximity to that hospital and the amenities that that's going to provide. So keep that in mind if you're looking to buy in the next couple years. So now that we've got transit and a new healthcare, hospital covered, let's talk about something that people usually don't think a whole lot about, but is necessary to ensure growth can continue to happen. Next, let's talk about the BC Hydro infrastructure investment coming up here. Over the next 10 years, around $1 billion is projected to be spent on the electricity grid and getting that ready for future development. The city of Surrey is growing like crazy, so this new project that they're doing is going to help support that growth because without electricity and that you can't build. So that's a very important point. Just reading here, BC Hydro is planning a new Surrey Centre substation. It's going to power somewhere between 20,000 to 35,000 homes, completed by 2032. They're also redeveloping the Scott Road substation to handle increased demand in that area. And I've seen developments get delayed in the past because the infrastructure just wasn't there. And I mean, you find that not only with electricity, but with sewer and water and things like that. And once that comes to an area, all of a sudden you see that growth start to explode. So now that we've covered some of that behind the scenes stuff in terms of infrastructure, electrical grid, whatnot, let's get into some more fun stuff like entertainment and things like that. The City Centre Entertainment District and Arena proposal is quite exciting. If you haven't heard about this one, I'm going to get you up to speed. So picture a 10,000 seat arena in the entertainment district in the city center area of Surrey. We're talking up North Surrey, up King George Highway. Picture that. In the next while here, hosting concerts, hosting maybe some Canucks preseason games. I wonder if maybe the Canucks might talk to them about having their practice facility out there. I know they're looking at that. That might be an idea. I wonder if that's in the works. I haven't heard that. I don't want to start a rumor, but hey, that would be a smart thing to do, especially connected with the SkyTrain. Can you imagine the Canucks coming down the SkyTrain line? That'd be kind of funny. But anyways, that's another idea for another time. So as part of this entertainment district, that arena, we've got new hotels, we've got restaurants, shops. The whole use of that area there is being carefully planned out because it's an important area. It's connected by the SkyTrain right now to downtown Vancouver via the current line, and then it's going to be extended, like we're talking about, down into Langley. So to get people in and out of that central hub is going to be very easy to do, especially on the SkyTrain. So that's why they're looking at really densifying that area, making that a real hub for entertainment, restaurants, sporting events, concerts, and things like that. So that's an important, point to note if you're looking at buying in that area. And as with all projects, I think this is, some people are split on whether this is a good idea or bad. Obviously, this would bring more traffic to the area, which is a downside if you already live there and you don't maybe like sports or concerts, that kind of thing. But all in all, I mean, the infrastructure behind it with SkyTrain coming in and out, I think should ease a lot of those concerns down the road. But hey, time will tell. But those are always concerns that people have with things like this. So now that we've talked a little bit about something happening in the North Surrey area with this city center entertainment district, let's head down the opposite end into South Surrey, and a big deal is going on down there right now. So we're talking about the new South Surrey changes to the access to Highway 99, and a lot of this has to do with the new tenant going in down there, which was just approved the other night, is the new South Surrey Costco. So part of this deal is that the access to South Surrey will be expanded. Right now, to get into South Surrey, if you're heading south on Highway 99, you've got three options. You've got the King George exit, which is, fairly, flows pretty good. You've got the 32nd Avenue exit, which I take quite a bit, and I can tell you that is a gong show, whether you're exiting the highway or trying to get on the highway, especially during rush hour. And then the next one is way down at 16th Avenue. And then 8th down by the border. So we're gonna get another one here now at 24th Avenue, an on-ramp and an off-ramp. So all of that traffic that now will want to go to this new Costco will be able to use that. This is really going to change things, especially for that 32nd Avenue on-ramp, off-ramp during the day. There's a ton of development up there. If you haven't watched my other videos, we did a great video on the Grandview Heights area. Drove around there, show you some different developments, different amenities, whatnot. So take a look at that video if you haven't watched that one. But with all that development, and I've always kind of thought like the planning on that, transportation type thing, getting on and off that highway was kind of missed. So this is really going to change it now, because there's going to be another way to get on and off there. So all those people don't have to come down to 32nd. They can just loop on right there at 24th Avenue. And keep in mind, in terms of real estate values, obviously proper access to highways in and out and whatnot, that can affect values. And I think if it's easier to get in and out of there, then real estate values in that Grandview Heights area should increase. The other thing that's going to increase that is whenever they get to getting that new Massey Tunnel replacement done, because that's going to move traffic in and out of South Surrey much more efficiently as well. Another huge development in Surrey, if you live in the Cloverdale area, is the Cloverdale Sport and Ice Complex. Megaprojects, and that has finally opened. I haven't been there for a look. I might try go there in the next little while. Maybe I'll give you a tour here on the channel, but that's a really nice looking facility. They've got 2 sheets of ice there, and they actually just awarded a contract for a 3rd NHL sized sheet. I think there's 200 or 300 seats in there to watch. So we're gonna have 3 sheets of ice there at Cloverdale, and that replaces the little Cloverdale arena in Cloverdale. If you've been there, it's a really cool spot. It's an old arena, I don't know, built in the, I'm gonna guess in the 50s or 60s. We do a client event there every year, which is a Christmas event. We go there skating and whatnot, and they do it up quite nice. So it's a really cool spot, but the need for a new arena was apparent, and this new arena is state of the art. So if you haven't checked that out, go and take a look at it. And since we were mentioning like how much they're investing in the city of Surrey, this project there cost around 132 million, I think it was. So again, another big price tag on something that's really going to change the shape of that area for sports and actually, kids hockey and things like that. So it's a really great project, I think. All right, so now that we've talked about all the big projects coming up, what does this mean to you? What does this mean if you were a buyer or seller of real estate? Well, let's break down a couple of key things. So things like the hospital, the Cloverdale Arena, the entertainment district, those things obviously bring price increases to the immediate area. With more of that going on there, more demand, more, you're going to have more supply eventually and more development happening. But I think the biggest one of these projects is that SkyTrain extension. And I dug up a report that actually looked at another SkyTrain extension that happened, and that's the one from downtown Vancouver to the city of Richmond, the Canada line. I believe that was done in part for the Olympics, so that we could move people in and out of the airport quickly. And this study looked at the effect of what that did to property values along that line. Within 1 kilometer of the new rapid transit stations, those properties experienced a clear, statistically significant price increase. And they found also that the increases were more apparent in areas outside of the downtown Vancouver core, so along that route into, down Cambie and into, Richmond and just, north of the Fraser River there. So homes in those areas experienced quite a bit more growth. And, we're talking in the 5 to 20% increase in value relative to comparative properties farther away from that SkyTrain line. The other elephant in the room, obviously, is that you don't want to be right beside the SkyTrain. There is a few spots there along Fraser Highway that I've looked at and I've kind of said, geez, I kind of feel bad for some people that maybe bought 10 years ago, 20 years ago that didn't know that this was going in, because you're going to have a SkyTrain going right by your front door is going to be noisy. But the other upside is if you're in a property like that, it might be ripe for development, because eventually along that line, what are you going to see down the line is, high rises, more apartments. They want density around these stations so they can move people in and out, and people don't need cars all the time to get to work. So that's the positive. But like I say, the negative right now is in terms of like the noise that's going to come and all that stuff. So if you're close to a SkyTrain station but not close enough to be hearing the whiz every 10 minutes or whatever it is, your property value should be going up. So that's a positive for that SkyTrain line. So if you're thinking about buying in terms of like timing and whatnot, right now, hey, we're in a buyer's market. Prices have come down, in that 5+% range over the last year. They seem to be coming down a little bit still. That being said, we're starting to maybe see a little bit of an uptick. Inventory went down a little bit last month and sales went up for the 2nd straight month. So, if you're a buyer and you're trying to think long term, think about these projects. Think about, am I looking in that area? Maybe I want to be a little bit closer to that. Maybe I want to be a little bit farther away, because timing on those things, once they get finished, prices will have already gone up. So, think about that if you're looking in those areas. So there you have it. Surrey is in one of the biggest transformations, it definitely I've seen in my lifetime. So when are you going to buy? When are you going to invest? Are you going to do it now, or are you going to wait until all these projects are done and property values start to increase? increase? That's the big question right now. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you when prices are going to be at their lowest point or when interest rates are going to be low or high. But what I do know is right now is a great time to get out there and look around. So if you are interested, like I say, we've been doing this over 20 years. Reach out to us. We'd be happy to talk about Surrey, Langley, South Surrey, the surrounding areas. We know tons about it. Let us know what you're looking for, what you need in a home, what you have to be close to. We can definitely give you some good options. And if you're looking to sell, hey, it's the flip side of the coin. Yes, we know the market, we know what's going on, we know how to price homes correctly so that we can get you the top dollar in the current market that we're in. You can reach out to me at info@moteam.ca, or hey, give me a call, 604-256-2110. Be happy to discuss with you, or send me a direct message on YouTube and I'll get back to you. And circling back to the South Surrey area again, we just did a great video about a month ago, 2 months ago, in the Grandview Heights area. So if you're interested in that area, take a look at that one. I did a driving tour around, showed you some different areas, some different real estate options in the area, amenities. So it gives you a real good feel for the area if you're looking at living in that South Surrey pocket right there.